Hello friends, today's topic the 12 hours of hire mistake that cost $10,000. Why owner keep arguing about time lost while charters focus on something completely different. It's 0600 hours. The vessel is steaming steadily across the Pacific. The chief engineer called the bridge. Chief to master, we have a problem with the main engine. Within few minutes, RPM drops, speed falls. The vessel can no longer perform the service expected under the charter party. On the operator screen ashore, everything suddenly changes. What looked like a normal voyage is now becoming a commercial event, and somewhere a future off hire dispute has just begun. Most people think the argument will be simple. How much miles were lost? How much delay was caused? But experienced operator know something important. Something those questions don't matter at all. Because under certain charter parties, the dispute isn't about the time loss. It's about something much bigger. The period during which vessel could not fully perform the service required. And that single distinction can cost thousands of dollars. At 0800, engineers begins repairs. The engine is partially available but not fully operational. The vessel continued at reduced capability. Everyone on board is focused on solving the technical problem. Yet, ashore, commercial teams are already thinking differently. They are asking, when did the event begins? When did the vessel stop fully performing? When did the vessel regain full working capability? Because under a period of hire clause, those questions determine the money, not necessarily the voyage delays. Many young operators assume off hires and time lost are the same thing. They are not. And focusing the two has created countless disputes. Imagine hiring a taxi for a day. At 8 a.m., the taxi breaks down. Repair finish at noon. Even if you only lose 2 hours reaching your destination, the taxi was unavailable for 4 hours. Most people would expect compensation for entire unavailable periods. Shipping often works in exactly the same way. At 12 o'clock, the repair are completed. The main engines is back. The vessel resume normal speed. The master reports, vessel fully operational. To the crew, the problem is solved. To the charters, the calculation is beginning. Because under a period of hire clause, hire typically resumes once the vessel regains full working capability, not when lost distance is recovered, not when the schedule is restored, not when commercial impact disappear, simply when the vessel can gain perform the required service. The distinction changes everything. A week later, email starts arriving. Owners argue. Vessel only lost a few hours commercially. Charters respond. The clause says, for the duration of such events, owner focus on delay. Charter focus on duration. Owner focus on consequences. Charters focus on capability. And suddenly, both sides are discussing entirely different things. The dispute was never about distance. It was never about ETA. It was never about schedule recovery. It was about wording. A few words hidden inside the charter party. This is where psychology enters the story. Human beings naturally focus on visible consequences, lost miles, lost hours, lost opportunities. But contract often focus on defined conditions. The vessel was either fully capable or it was not. The clause either applies or it does not. And many disputes occurs because people analyze the event through operational logic instead of contractual logic. The best operators understand something important. The charter party is not merely a legal document. It is decision making framework. Before discussing deduction, they ask, what type of clause are we dealing with? Is this a time lost clause or a period of hire clause? Because the answer changes the entire strategy. Let's look at the simple example. Daily hire 20,000, hourly hire 833.33. Problem starts 0600. Problem resolved 1800. Duration 12 hours. Off hire approximately 10,000. Now comes the surprising part. Charters may not need to prove that the voyage suffered a 12 hours delay. They only need to demonstrate that the vessel could not fully perform the charter services during those 12 hours. That is why experienced operators become obsessed with timeline. Every hour matter, every report matters, every logbook entry matters, every engine report matters because reducing the duration of the event often becomes strongest defense available. The most effective master and operators don't wait for the disputes. They document event carefully. They record exact timing. They communicate clearly. They establish when capability was lost and when capability was restored. Not because they expect conflict, because they understand how conflict are won with facts, not opinions. Years from now, most people won't remember the engine problem. They won't remember the weather. They won't remember the voyage, but they will remember the lesson. In shipping, the most expensive disputes are often created not by machinery but by misunderstanding a few words inside charter party. And sometimes the difference between time lost and period of hire is worth thousands of dollars. Next time you see wording such as for the duration of such event, pause, read it again because the clause may be telling you something important. The dispute ahead may not be about delay, it may be about duration. And understanding that distinction is what separate routine operators from strategic shipping professionals. Thank you.